Hello, it's Stephanie and welcome to my channel. Today I have a classics haul. These books I ordered in January. They came from the Book Depository and I can't wait to delve into these. This is kind of my year to do a lot of classical reading. Relax, get a cup of tea. I've got quite a few books to go through. Okay, first of my books is Far from the Madding Crowd and it's by Thomas Hardy. There we go. And I like these Penguin English Library editions. So I have read some of this book. This was a few years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't finish it off for whatever reason. I think I was finding it quite difficult to get into this Thomas Hardy book. But I think this time I will give it a damn good go and get through it because I like his stories. I like Thomas Hardy's stories. I have seen the adaptation of this book and I think this is going to be quite a good one to read. Now I've already seen the adaptation. I find that I was similar to the Jane Austen books. Once I've watched the movie then I can get into the books, but I do think I think I'm going to enjoy this one this year. This I've never read. I have seen the movie. Wasn't a great big fan of the movie, but I think the book is actually going to be awesome. Actually quite slim. I thought it was going to be quite a big book, but clearly not. And The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it's one I will get through this year. It's like I said, it's not a big read, and it's just over 150 pages. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading about this era as well. I don't know a lot about this era. I haven't read very much about this this time period, so forward to doing something, reading something a little bit different. Next is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I think I tried to read this years ago and maybe I lost a copy when I was reading it halfway through. I used to do, when I lived in London, I used to do a lot of reading on the tube station, going to and from work, commuting. And so I think I may have lost it along the way. Anyway, so I haven't read it the full book in years. It's been years. It's probably about 20 years. So yeah, looking forward to actually finally reading this book, and I think it's going to be really enjoyable. Next is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. I've never read any of Virginia Woolf's work before. I always I don't know, I always kind of steer clear from her work for whatever reason, but now I have. I've actually completed this book and I quite enjoyed the writing. Her style, there was a lot of people in this book and a lot of voices in this book, so I found this quite an interesting reading. There's no chapters in it. I mean, you know, it's only just under 200 pages, I think. Yeah, it's 180 pages, this particular book is. So yeah, there's a lot of voices in this book, there's a lot going on in the story. I will give a full review of this book. It was quite an interesting read. But yeah, this is a book though that you really need to kind of read in one sitting or two sittings. I found, because the way I read it, I think I read it over a period of a week just because I was so busy. And I didn't really get into this story, but I think I will reread this, just see if things of my opinions will change. Next is this whopper of a book. The size of that, I think it's just under 1,000 pages, 900 pages. Okay, I don't tend to read big thick books like this. I always steer clear of them. I find them overwhelming and I just think it's going to take me forever to get through it, and it probably will. It'll probably take me weeks to get through this one unless I'm really loving the story and I don't pick any other books up at the same time. If I just focus on this, Middlemarch by George Eliot, I think I should get through this within a couple of weeks if I'm lucky. Anyway, looking forward to reading this. I don't know a lot about it. It says Middlemarch is a moving story of men and women longing to do the right thing but making bad decisions. So yeah, that should be quite an interesting story. I will get round to it, but I'm looking forward to reading some of George Eliot work. Okay, next is Charles Dickens and it's A Christmas Carol. and it's super thin. It's probably just over 100 pages, 150 pages I'd imagine. Oh no, 94 pages, there you go. And that's not going to take me long to read. I'll probably leave this until later on in the year when it gets nearer Christmas, because I absolutely love this story. Haven't read the actual book, but of course I've seen the many versions of adaptations. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading some of Charles Dickens' books. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and I've been told that the Pickwick Papers is brilliant. So I've got to, we do have it. I think it's a bit tatty and worn because it's been thumbed through quite a lot. I haven't read it yet, but I know my husband has. Next is The Picture of Dorian Gray, and it's by, that was my phone, it's by Oscar Wilde. And I have tried to read this book, and I have to say I didn't like the way it was written. Yeah, the way it was written kind of drove me insane, and I didn't like it particularly, but I think I should give it another go. And like I said, it's not very big, so I should be able to get through this, and I am determined to get through a lot of my classic books this year. Next is, it's all blurry, sorry, Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. I don't know anything about this book other than what I saw in the movie 50 Shades of Grey. I know, it's bad, isn't it? So yeah, I have heard it before that. I just don't know anything about it. Again, I stayed away from classics for quite some time, and then I tried to get back into it, and then I stayed away from it, and then came back to it, and now I'm getting back to it. I've bought all these books, I've got to read it. So it says, with its sensitive depiction of a wronged pure woman and the powerful criticism of Victorian sexual hypocrisy, Tess of the D'Urbervilles shocked readers on publication. Actually, it sounds quite interesting. How appropriate that it should have been in 50 Shades of Grey. Another Charles Dickens book, Hard Times. Look at it, it says, Hard Time is a searing, passionate criticism of a world that values material success and rationalism above the human heart. It's kind of appropriate about this time that we're living in as well, isn't it? Let's face it. Charles Dickens is quite interesting where his stories come from, particularly this one. So yeah, we'll give you a review on this when I get this one completed. It looks like it's about 200-300 pages. Yeah, it's about 350 pages. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Oh god, you're gonna love this book. I have read this book. I absolutely loved it. I was shocked by how similar it was, close to Doctor Who. So maybe Doctor Who is based on the Time Machine. It would make complete sense. But what shocked me was how ahead of his time he was with his thought process. His writing is amazing. Love H.G. Wells' book. I think this is going to be an awesome read. Not a big read, probably what, 200 pages, 150 pages. Oh, it's actually less than that. It's about 103 pages. So yeah, I think this is going to be an awesome book to read. Like I said, I read it when I was living in London years ago. That one I did lose. I was really annoyed because I lost that book in London. Here it is, The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. What can I say? You know, we've seen movies with the Invisible Man in it, and I think it's going to be a good book. It's H.G. Wells at the end of the day. I think it was ahead of his time. I think people just done a brilliant job on the movies, including The Invisible Man. So yeah, looking forward to it. Depicting one man's descent into murderous brutality, The Invisible Man is a hugely influential and riveting exploration of science's power to corrupt. Brilliant. Next up is E.M. Forster, and it's A Room with a View. I've never read any of his books before. I have heard of this story before. I don't really know a lot about it though. It says, in a sunny tale of love and liberation, Lucy Honeychurch is transformed by the characters she meets on her first trip to Italy. Flamboyant romantic novelist Eleanor Lavish, the Cockney Signora, I may have not pronounced that right, lower class Mr. Emerson, and most of all, his passionate, unconventional son. Sounds good to me. Just a few more to go, and next is The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins. And I've seen this on BookTube videos. I never heard of it before. It's a meaty one, and this, oh my gosh, it's about 700 pages. So it better be a good book, because I will DNF books if on this size, if I just don't like the story or the way it's written. So I'm hoping this is going to be a good read. And it says the first and greatest of the bestsellers, Victorian thrills known as sensation novels. The Woman in White opens with a chilling encounter between drawing teacher Walter Hartridge and a ghostly female figure on a moonlit road. That really sounds just so interesting, so up my street, so intriguing, and I think I'm going to enjoy this one. Villette, I think it's how you pronounce, or Villette, Charlotte Bronte, and this is a bit of a beast of a book. I'm currently reading Wuthering Heights. I've already read Jane Eyre, so but I love their writing perspectives of that era, because I think a lot of the time that era is so romanticised. I do like a bit of the realism that comes through these books. So yeah, I am looking forward to reading this one. I know it's not, I don't think it's as popular as the other Bronte sisters books, but I'm willing to give it a go. I think it's going to be awesome. And last but not least, this is Anne Bronte, The Tenant of Wildfell Hall. Another one that I think is going to be awesome. It says this sensational, hard-hitting and passionate tale of marital cruelty sees a mysterious new tenant at Wildfell Hall. Bit of a mouthful that is for me. Helen Graham unmasked not as a wicked woman, as the local gossips would have it, but as the estranged wife of a brutal alcoholic bully, desperate to protect her son. Quite a lot of classic books that I'm going to read this year. I've already met, I think, 3 out of the 6 books of my quota for the year, but I'm almost going to turn this year into a classical reading year, I think. So yeah, I am going to be giving you reviews, updates coming soon, and we will see you soon. Okay, bye for now.